If you just think when the Berlin Wall fell, it's the Beethoven Ninth Symphony. In Japan, it has to be done every year around Christmas. All around the world, it is a piece that symbolizes great moments in history. It almost has to be played at great moments in history.
Beethoven not only broke new ground with his compositions, he also set completely new standards for the concert business and established music as an art form. In 1792, Beethoven didn't arrive in Vienna as a celebrity, but as a young piano virtuoso in a horse-drawn carriage. He had already earned a considerable reputation in Bonn and quickly became a well-known face in Vienna's musical society. Beethoven clearly left his mark on the Austrian capital. His homes are now museums, and the places he worked are now sites of pilgrimage for his fans from all around the world. When he arrived in Vienna as a 21-year-old composition student, there was no indication his arrival here would divide musical history into the world before Beethoven and the world after Beethoven. In Vienna, Beethoven developed into an artist and composer of international standing. Starting with his first symphony, he demonstrated his systematic approach. Beethoven didn't start the symphony in the usual way with a thunderclap in the home key. Instead, he broke all the rules by opening with a dissonant chord, which initially leaves listeners in the dark and then leads them astray. The opening circles around the symphony's actual key of C major, but it never arrives there. Beethoven's first symphony showed he was someone who hoped his works of art would stand the test of time. No more short-lived light music for the nobility, instead, masterpieces for Europe's increasingly music-loving bourgeoisie. Beethoven was the first composer to consistently assign his compositions opus numbers. Symphony No. 1, Opus 21. He saw himself as an artist on the same level as the writers, sculptors, and painters of his day. And he set the highest of standards for himself and others. Earlier composers were guided by musicians' abilities. Beethoven ignored them, formulating precise notations in his scores for tempo, dynamics, and articulation. His art required trained professionals who dedicated long rehearsals to mastering his works, and that required institutions that could finance those efforts. Something unexpected happened. His revolutionary demands were met.
Welcome to Vienna, for many the musical capital of the world, and I'm here at the Musikverein, the Golden Concert Hall.
Today, the Vienna Musikverein, meaning Music Association, is known for its legendary concert hall, which opened in 1870. Many consider it to have the best acoustics in the world, And we all know the Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra's New Year's Day concert, which is broadcast every year live worldwide. The Musikverein was founded in 1812 with an idea that changed the world of music. Citizens joined forces to support Vienna's musical life. Beethoven also became a member, but in his own way.
Beethoven was commissioned by the association Gesellschaft der Musikfreunde to write a piece of music. But he was quite unhappy with the text he had to work with, or the music association gave him a text that he didn't want to set to music. But he'd already received what today we would call a down payment. Things dragged on, the work was never created, Beethoven was famous, and it turned out that he wouldn't deliver anything. And of course, you can't say to Beethoven, please give me the money back. So they did something that probably wouldn't be done today. They decided he should keep the money, and they would make him an honorary member.
The association has been active for so long until today and has such a big impact on the musical life in Vienna. How have you managed to be so influential for so long?
So viel Einfluss zu haben.
On the one hand, we were the first, but we didn't just hold concerts. Back when we were founded in 1812, our main concern was actually the conservatory. It was the only place in the whole Austro-Hungarian Empire to learn music, to study music. Concerts were not the primary focus. This was only the third purpose. Teaching, collecting, concerts. That has changed a lot over time.
You have been the artistic director here for 31 years. You must have heard a lot of Beethoven. Would you say that Beethoven is a bestseller?
Natürlich.
For sure. There's no debate. Beethoven is always extremely popular. Listening to his music is extremely popular, and as you rightly say, it's a bestseller.
What would you say is Beethoven's appeal? Why do people still adore coming to a Beethoven cycle?
It's the classical music. This is the pinnacle of classical music, a kind of absolute music.
So neither you nor the association could imagine a world without Beethoven?
We can't imagine it, but if he hadn't existed, we wouldn't know what we'd missed out on.
Luckily he did, and luckily we have him. The concept of concert halls for professional musicians quickly conquered the world in the 19th century. Associations, foundations, and cities finance these temples of classical music, these architectural masterpieces. In 1891, the first American temple of music opened its doors.
Carnegie Hall is one of the most iconic concert halls in the world. And the first concert was in 1891. And guess what was on the program? Beethoven, of course.
Beethoven, who else? And then they all started coming to New York. Richard Strauss celebrated some of his greatest successes here. Gustav Mahler conducted here. Tickets to see swing legend Benny Goodman were resold on the street for astronomical sums. The Beatles and Bob Dylan's concerts are legendary. If you make it to Carnegie Hall, you really made it. But how do you get there? Practice, practice, practice.
Literally, I mean, from the word go, Beethoven has been part of our life here.
As executive director and artistic director, could you even imagine a world without Beethoven?
Well, There's so many things about him that, I mean, he was a revolutionary in every single way. Because if one thinks about how people wrote music and the context for writing music before him, you know, where you were basically writing music for people, most of the time you were being told what you had to write.
You only had the one set of orchestra players.
Yes, you had your
fixed
fixed resource, but you also had to keep somebody satisfied, whoever was paying you. I mean, Beethoven didn't feel he had to satisfy anybody. He only wrote what he believed in. Every single form that he touched, he completely transformed. I mean, every single aspect of what he did, he changed music forever.
What does the public like to hear the best from Beethoven?
Well, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, you as a player, me as an ex-player, I don't think there's any piece I played more in my entire life than the Beethoven Fifth or the Beethoven Seventh Symphony. I mean, those were on programs endlessly. So
they've been played over 300 times at Carnegie Hall. I mean, just that one piece, it's hard to even
insane,
imagine.
Isn't it? But, you know, so the fact is, you could do a Beethoven cycle, symphony cycle, piano sonata cycle, every single year, year after year after year. But the fact is, Beethoven has an effect which I think almost no other composer does. I mean, which is you can always sell his music, and people use it. If you just think when the Berlin Wall fell, it's the Beethoven Ninth Symphony. In Japan, it has to be done every year around Christmas. All around the world, it is a piece that symbolizes great moments in history. It almost has to be played at great moments in history. The effect he's had in so many different ways, but frankly, preparing the platform for the future, but also, in a way, he was the first great romantic. I mean, even though he wasn't yet there, but he prepared the ground for the romantics completely, because the whole thing of the emotion and the passion that he brought to everything. So it's every dimension he changed.
What do you think works best? Do you put Beethoven together with modern music? Is there any sort of formula you found has worked really well, or does Beethoven work best as a concert planner in a complete Beethoven program?
You know, we're never thinking in terms of what works best. What we're thinking is what illuminates what. So, I mean, the fact is, yes, you can put Beethoven in the context of contemporary composers. You can put him in a historic context. You can, this is again what's fascinating about him. You can put him in almost any context.
Well, basically, you can't imagine a world without Beethoven.
It's truly unimaginable. I mean, I would love to know what a great composer coming afterwards, where they were building on so much of what he transformed, where would they have been? I mean, if you look at something like the 60s, when the arts were fundamental in America to all the big changes that happened in terms of the Race Relations Act, women's rights, gay rights, all of these things, the arts played a central role. Now, Beethoven was the first musician and the first composer who actually had a genuine social conscience, and he was fighting for things that he really believed in. His music is about revolution, it is about change, it's about always being utterly compelling in what you write, never comfortable.
It's incredible how much Beethoven has shaped our music world. Whether in jazz, film scores, or rock music, his innovations and ideas are everywhere.